Liam and Sarah were two individuals in a committed relationship, drawing strength from their vibrant personalities. Liam was a cheerful and optimistic person, who saw the bright side of any situation. He had a passion for sports and loved to share stories of his adventures with friends. Sarah, on the other hand, was thoughtful and introspective. She enjoyed painting and often expressed her feelings through her art. Their differences made their bond unique and special, as they learned from each other's perspectives. They met in a local coffee shop in the heart of Seattle, where they both frequently spent their afternoons. One rainy day, their paths crossed when Liam, accidentally spilling coffee, bumped into Sarah. They both laughed, and Liam's warm smile immediately captured Sarah's heart. She admired his playful spirit and how he made the world feel a little lighter. Meanwhile, Liam was drawn to Sarah's creative soul and how she saw beauty in the smallest things. They spent hours talking, discovering their shared love for music and literature. This initial phase of their relationship was filled with laughter and gentle gestures. They enjoyed long walks together, talking about their dreams and fears under the starry sky. As they grew closer, they built a strong emotional foundation rooted in trust and support. However, they were not without challenges. As their connection deepened, so did their vulnerabilities. Jealousy, a small yet powerful emotion, started to creep into their blossoming love. They often faced moments where insecurity bubbled up, whether it was about Liam's time with friends or Sarah's dedication to her art. This would test their ever-growing bond. Yet, their hopefulness kept them moving forward, eager to understand and conquer these struggles, knowing that with love and communication, they could overcome anything together. As time went on, the sweet harmony between Liam and Sarah began to feel strained. Sarah noticed that she was often lost in thoughts during their conversations. When Liam shared his latest sports stories or jokes with his friends, she found it harder to laugh along. Instead, a thick wall of self-doubt started to settle around her heart. She felt as though Liam was slipping away, like sand running through her fingers. The more he laughed and shared his life, the more she felt ignored. At first, Liam sensed that something was off. He would look at Sarah during their evenings together and see her distant gaze. She would often smile, yet her eyes told a different story. The warmth they once shared began to wane, their debates turned from lighthearted to tense. One evening, they sat on the couch, a familiar spot, but instead of enjoying the closeness, a chilly silence filled the air. Sarah finally decided to speak up, saying, "Liam, do you even notice when I'm quiet? Sometimes I feel alone, even when you're right beside me." Liam's heart sank at her words. He had been too focused on his own life, sharing laughter but failing to see Sarah's emotional struggles. Instead of responding openly, he felt defensive. "I didn't know you were feeling this way. I thought we were fine," he replied. He was surprised that Sarah felt disconnected. To him, everything seemed happy. However, Janet's honesty opened the door to deeper issues neither of them fully understood yet. The first attempts at communication had stumbled, with both partners feeling misunderstood. Sarah's hurt shined through her words, but Liam felt overwhelmed. He wanted to be there for her, yet he didn't know how to bridge the gap that now existed between them. They both quieted down, leaving their thoughts unspoken and their feelings unresolved, marking a crucial moment in their relationship. An evening routine they used to cherish turned tense. Liam turned on the TV, hoping to lighten the mood. Sarah tried to engage, but television shows felt distant and meaningless. Eventually, she stood up, walked toward her studio in silence, and sat down with her paintbrush, attempting to pour her feelings onto the canvas. As colors blended, she started to feel a bit lighter. Art could express what words sometimes could not. Liam, confused by her abrupt departure, followed her quietly, peeking into the studio. He could see Sarah lost in her thoughts and colors, and bitter feelings crept in. Why did she choose to paint instead of talking to him? A sense of inadequacy tightened around him. Deep down, he wanted to pull her closer but felt uncertain about how. Over time, he, too, felt those creeping doubts, the kind that whispered he wasn't enough to heal her unrest. Their struggle continued. The disconnect became a silent barrier. They both longed for warmth and understanding, yet struggled to bridge the gap together. With unanswered questions at stake, Sarah's sadness mixed with Liam's anxiety grew heavier. Each day felt like balancing on a tightrope, where one misstep could send them both tumbling down. They needed to recognize this tension not as defeat, but as an opportunity, not just to communicate but also to heal. As the days passed, the tension between Liam and Sarah hung heavy in the air. Just when Sarah started to find solace in her art, a new strain emerged, this time rooted in jealousy. It all began when Liam received a message from his childhood friend, Emily. They had shared countless laughs and adventures years ago, and now, she wanted to catch up with him over coffee. This news stirred a storm of emotions inside Sarah. Although she trusted Liam, the old insecurities that had lingered in the shadows cornered her mind. When Liam mentioned his plan to meet Emily, Sarah felt a shiver of anxiety wash over her. "Do you really need to meet her?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. She could sense her heart beating faster. Liam looked surprised by her reaction. "It's just coffee. We've been friends for years." But Sarah's head spun with thoughts of their past. What if he saw her again and felt that same spark they once shared? That night, as Liam prepared to meet Emily, Sarah's heart sank deeper. She tried to talk about her feelings before he left. "I know I shouldn't feel this way, but I hate the thought of you being with her. It's just difficult for me." But Liam, feeling frustrated and hurt by her doubts, countered, "Can't you trust me? You're overreacting." His tone shifted from gentle to defensive, and that only made Sarah withdraw further. The distance grew, each moment stretching the silence between them. While Liam sat across from Emily at the coffee shop, he couldn't shake off the weight of Sarah's words. Her insecurity hung around him like a shadow. Emily was cheerful and engaging, and even as they talked about old times, Liam's thoughts drifted back to the uneasiness he had seen in Sarah's eyes. He wanted to reassure her, but their earlier discussion kept him silent. It felt easier to smile through the tension, masking his own conflicted feelings. Meanwhile, Sarah sat at home alone, drowning in her own emotions. She began painting furiously, the strokes of blue and gray mingling on her canvas mirrored her inner turmoil. As she painted, she released small pieces of her jealousy and fear, though that didn't completely calm the storm inside. She felt the need to outwardly express her feelings, but the thought of approaching Liam again seemed daunting. Their contrasting feelings morphed into a flaming fire of dread. Instead of arguing, they both chose the safer path, each attempting to suppress their feelings. But beneath the surface, anger and sadness brewed. This cycle of fear and frustration began to chip away at their connection, clouding over the love that had previously blossomed between them. The next day, the tension manifested when Liam returned home after meeting Emily. Sarah, still grappling with her jealousy, snapped unexpectedly. "Did you have fun? Did old feelings come flooding back?" The words rushed out, filled with pain and darkness. Liam, taken aback, felt his heart race. "Sarah, that isn't fair. I can't control how we both feel." This initial burst of emotions startled them both, planting seeds of change. Unresolved feelings roamed freely. They found themselves cornered into a space between questioning their love and confronting their fears. In that moment, they stood at a crossroads, each feeling the weight of the small wins they desperately needed to grasp for the sake of their relationship. The tension between Liam and Sarah reached its peak on a Saturday afternoon, when a small disagreement snowballed into a big fight, threatening to shake the foundation of their relationship. They were supposed to enjoy a relaxing day together. Instead, the atmosphere in their apartment crackled with unspoken words. Liam had been scrolling through his phone, and Sarah could no longer hold back her feelings. "Are you even paying attention to me?" Sarah snapped, feeling irritation boiling within her. "You spend all your time on that thing. It's like you don't care about us anymore." The accusation hung in the air like a dark cloud, filled with frustration. Liam felt the sting of her words. "That's not fair. I've just been trying to relax," he replied, raising his voice. For a moment, silence settled in as both took a step back, each wrestling with their own anger and hurt. But Sarah wasn't ready to back down. "Maybe if you weren't so focused on everything else, you could see how isolated I feel," she continued, her voice shaky but loud enough to show her determination. The conversation pushed them toward their breaking points. Liam's heart raced, caught between wanting to defend himself and feeling the weight of her pain. You can't just blame me for how you feel. You need to own your emotions instead of throwing them at me. You think I want to feel like I'm walking on eggshells around you? His words cut deeper than he intended, but the frustration was overwhelming. You say you want me to understand, but you only push me away. Tears pooled in Sarah's eyes as she realized that their words were turning sharper. I just want to be understood, Liam. Sometimes it feels like you care more about your friends than me. What's wrong with reaching out for help when I need it? Her voice cracked, exposing her vulnerability amid the anger. Liam stepped back, feeling the heartache behind her anger. So, what do you want me to do? Am I supposed to drop everything just to prove my love? Do you even trust me? The two were deeply caught in their emotions, each feeling misunderstood yet unwilling to reveal the fears fueling their anger. Sadness and frustration swirled around in Sarah's chest. I want you to show that I matter, not just when you feel like it. I want you to be there for me. She felt every word break away, pulling more layers from her heart than she intended. In that charged moment, both partners felt the confusion and hurt rising up like boiling water. The voices echoed through their apartment, louder than they had ever been. It wasn't just about jealousy anymore, it turned into the stark reality of their emotional needs colliding, the very foundation they once embraced now feeling fragile and cracked. Then, both fell silent, looking at each other yet seeing only a mirror of their pain. They stood frozen, heavy words hanging in the air, and real regret started to seep in with each breath. The raw emotions left a lasting mark, transforming the afternoon into a painful memory. It felt like they didn't just clash over small misunderstandings, they had stirred up shadows from each of their pasts, revealing how deep their struggles truly ran. Despite the blows exchanged, both loved fiercely and wanted resolution. If only they could escape the cycle of anger long enough to see how to reach one another again. After the heated argument, Liam found himself sitting alone on the edge of his bed, his heart still racing from the confrontational words exchanged. The silence in the room pressed down heavily, making the space feel even smaller. He didn't want to rehash their fight, but all he could do was replay their heated words in his mind. Why can't she understand, he thought to himself, frustration bubbling up once more. But as he sat there, an aching truth began to surface. Liam realized his tendency to bury his feelings, retreating into distractions instead of facing the issues between them. While scrolling through his phone provided a temporary escape, it couldn't mend the growing rift with Sarah. Images of laughter and happy moments flooded his mind, and he felt a wave of sadness wash over him. What if she's right? What if I'm not giving her the attention she needs? To cope, he reached for his journal, hoping to pour his swirling emotions onto its blank pages. Writing helped him clarify his thoughts and feelings. As he scribbled away, he began reflecting on his past experiences, questioning how often he'd been so wrapped up in his own life that he neglected the important connections around him. The thought of losing Sarah struck him hard. Is this who I want to be? Someone who takes love for granted? Meanwhile, Sarah sat cross-legged in her studio, surrounded by half-finished paintings that mirrored her turmoil. The brush in her hand hesitated above the canvas as she stared blankly ahead. Avoiding the confrontation replaying in her mind felt impossible. She struggled to find a way to channel her emotions creatively, feeling as if her heart was still burdened by fear. While trying to find clarity, she reached for her own journal, a habit that always helped put her feelings into perspective. She wrote about Liam, about the warmth she felt when he shared the simple joys of life, and how their laughter could brighten even the cloudiest days. Yet at that moment, all she could feel was lose. Each line she wrote revealed the fears that rattled in her heart, the fear of losing her anchor, her partner, to unresolved emotions. Thinking back to their last conversation, she realized how she had pushed away the very person she needed the most. Did I really think being angry would help? Why did I react like that? She questioned script line after script line. Her feelings of confusion and longing intertwined within her words, creating a snapshot of her subconscious thoughts. As Sarah continued to write, a realization dawned upon her: she needed to communicate better with Liam. It wasn't about blaming him for her feelings but about reaching across the divide to express her vulnerabilities honestly. What if she became more open? What if they both learned to understand each other's needs? If they both continued to hide behind walls of doubt and anger, Sarah feared they risked losing the love they cared so deeply about. She imagined a future without Liam and felt her heart crack at the thought. He had brought so much joy and adventure to her life, but she couldn't let her uncertainties drive him away. In that moment of reflection, both Liam and Sarah began to realize they stood at a crucial turning point. They each understood that if they didn't confront the challenges head-on, work through the feelings distance them, they might lose each other forever. Regret flooded their hearts, stirring up a sense of urgency. As they penned down their thoughts and feelings, they start to see the importance of fighting not just for themselves, but for the love they knew was worth preserving. The following morning, sunlight poured through the window, casting a warm glow in the apartment. Liam woke up earlier than usual, feeling a mix of hope and tension in the pit of his stomach. As he lay in bed, he thought about everything that had happened. His thoughts drifted back to the argument and the quiet moments alone afterward. Whatever distance had grown between him and Sarah, he wanted to bridge it. Determined to mend things, he decided to be honest and courageous. He took a deep breath and picked up his phone to send a message to Sarah. "Can we talk? I need you to know how I feel." He stared at the screen, the words heavy with emotion. After a moment of hesitation, he pressed send, hoping his message would resonate with her. Meanwhile, Sarah was also wrestling with her thoughts. She had awakened consumed by feelings she couldn't shake off. The words she had shared filled her mind, surrounded by a deep yearning for connection. It was time to face her fears honestly. After receiving Liam's message, she felt a glimmer of hope lighting the way out of the tension tangled around them. She quickly replied, "Yes, please." They agreed to meet at the coffee shop where their story first began, a place that held many happy memories. As both arrived, a sense of anticipation danced between them. This would be different. With gentle smiles, they settled into a quiet table by the window. Liam cleared his throat, feeling both nervous and eager. "I'm really sorry for how I reacted the other night. I didn't mean to shut you out or make you feel unimportant. It's just hard for me sometimes." His voice broke a bit, revealing his vulnerability. A small weight lifted off his chest as he spoke. He felt that owning his mistakes was the first step to healing their emotional rift. Sarah sighed with relief, grateful for the compassion that lit up Liam's eyes. "I'm sorry, too. I let my jealousy take over and didn't express my feelings like I should have. Instead of pushing you away, I should have opened up." Their apologies seemed to breathe fresh air into the spaces that had felt so heavy before. For the first time in a while, they were truly connecting, paving a path forward. As they talked about their feelings openly, Liam suggested they look for resources together. "Maybe we could read a book on communication? Or even consider seeing a therapist together if we feel stuck. I'm more than willing to do whatever it takes to grow." The idea surprised Sarah but also filled her with hope. She nodded, seeing that he cared deeply about their future and was willing to embark on this journey side by side. "Let's do it together," she agreed. "I want us to learn how to communicate better because I believe we deserve that." They both smiled, feeling somewhat lighter already, the tension beginning to fade. In that moment, they chose not just to apologize, but to take action. The emotional turning point became clear for both of them. They recognized that their relationship, built on mutual love and respect, was worth the fight. It was worth navigating through the difficult times and learning together. With fresh determination in their hearts, Liam and Sarah promised to keep talking and growing stronger as a couple. The sense of shared commitment filled the air. Each felt a renewed sense of possibility and an eagerness to heal old wounds. They could now envision a future where their love wasn't just about overcoming struggles but thriving in understanding and connection. Every challenge could either pull them apart or make them stronger. This was their choice, and today, they chose each other. In the days following their conversation at the coffee shop, Liam and Sarah made a commitment to each other, the commitment to foster better communication and to embrace vulnerability. They realized that both were essential for deepening their connection. Their hearts felt lighter as they took their first steps toward this new approach. One evening, after a long day, Liam returned home just as Sarah finished dinner. The smell of her cooking filled the apartment, a comforting reminder of the moments they enjoyed together. "I made your favorite pasta," she said with a bright smile. Yet, as they sat down to eat, Liam noticed that he still felt that old urge to scroll through his phone. He caught himself about to reach for it, but decided against it. "I want us to be present," he reminded himself. As they ate, an awkward silence hung in the air. It felt strange for both of them to avoid distractions and engage solely with each other. "How was your day?" Sarah finally asked, aware of the importance of small talk. Liam responded enthusiastically about a new project at work, but even in those moments, he noticed his mind drifting, tempted to pull away from the discussion. He fought against that instinct, sensing that this was a critical moment for both him and Sarah. When dinner ended, Sarah playfully cleared the table, tossing in jokes about the ingredients she had almost forgotten. Laughter filled the space, easing the newfound tension. Both tried to embrace lightness, but they also felt the gravity of the work ahead. Later, as they cuddled on the couch, Sarah could sense the struggle within Liam. "It's okay to find this hard," she offered gently. "Honestly, I feel a little awkward, too. We need to give each other time." Liam looked at her, thankful for her patience. "I want to be better. I want to change for us," he replied candidly, though uncertainty flickered behind his eyes. Days turned into weeks, and they began to see changes, not without challenges, but genuine attempts to connect on a deeper level. They scheduled weekly check-ins, where they talked about their feelings and any lingering frustrations. Sometimes there were stumbling blocks. Once, during an emotional conversation, Liam prematurely reacted with defensiveness, which led to another heated back and forth. But that time, Sarah paused, took a deep breath, and reminded him gently, "We're here to listen, remember?" They both knew that imperfections were part of the process. In quiet moments, they also chose small acts of love. Liam made sure to surprise Sarah with her favorite snacks on grocery runs, while she began leaving sweet notes for him to find. They each realized that vulnerability wasn't just about expressing their struggles, it also involved embracing the little joys shared in every day. However, old habits occasionally raised their heads. Late one night, after a long day where they had both faced their own stressors, Liam slipped back into isolation by zoning out in front of the television instead of engaging with Sarah. She felt the familiar sting of disappointment creep in. Yet this time, she fought the urge to say anything hurtful. Instead, she took a moment and approached him softly, resting her hand on his shoulder. "I miss our talks," she said earnestly. Liam turned toward her, and those words struck him. He didn't want to slip back into the old ways, he chose to actively participate. "You're right. Let's talk," he responded, pushing aside the worry of feeling trapped by expectations. Through both awkward moments and small victories, Liam and Sarah worked together to navigate this new chapter in their relationship. Each small change brought them closer, allowing they could not only learn but also grow as partners. With every shared laugh, vulnerable conversation, and understanding glance, they felt the connection revive, building a strong foundation from the remnants of their past and working toward a hopeful future. Each day became an opportunity for growth, reminding them that relationships were never perfect but always worthwhile. As the weeks rolled on, Liam and Sarah continued to integrate the lessons they learned into their everyday lives. They were becoming more intentional about connecting, and slowly but surely, the walls that once stood between them started to crumble. It was a Saturday morning when they had a moment that truly showcased how much they had changed. The sun poured through the window, casting a warm glow around their living room. Sarah had the idea to plan a day out together, something light and enjoyable. She proposed visiting a nearby park for a picnic. Liam felt the excitement bubble up inside him, knowing how much Sarah loved being outdoors. "That sounds amazing. Let's do it," he responded with a beaming smile. They packed a basket filled with Sarah's homemade sandwiches, fresh fruit, and some snacks. As they walked to the park, hand in hand, anticipation fluttered in the air. A gentle breeze played with Sarah's hair as they chatted about their plans for the future. For the first time in a long while, it felt like they were in tune with one another, as if they were sharing a private melody only they could hear. Once they reached the park, they settled on a cozy blanket beneath a sprawling oak tree. As they enjoyed their picnic, laughter spilled from their lips and chased away any lingering worries. It felt effortless, as if they were tuning into the heart of their relationship again. They played games, took turns feeding each other grapes, and reminisced about their favorite moments. After the meal, they laid back on the blanket, watching the clouds drift lazily by. A comfortable silence filled the space, but this one didn't feel heavy. As Sarah inhaled the sweet scent of blooming flowers, she turned to Liam, feeling the urge to open up. "Can I share something with you?" she asked softly, her tone inviting. Liam looked at her intently, feeling the warmth of her gaze. "Always," he replied, eager to listen. "I know our journey hasn't always been easy," she began. "But I can feel the love we have has grown stronger through all the challenges. I feel so safe talking to you now. Like I can share anything." Her voice trembled with gratitude. Liam's heart swelled as he listened intently. He responded, "I also feel it. I sometimes think about how we work together to overcome those tough moments. The way we both opened up made me realize how strong we truly are." In that moment, amidst the sounds of laughter echoing in the park and the warmth of sunshine, they connected on a deeper level. Their eyes met, filled with understanding and acceptance. They acknowledged the openness with which they had chosen to communicate. It was liberating to express their true feelings without fear. "I don't want to lose what we have," he added earnestly. "Let's always promise to talk through things. No matter how hard." Sarah nodded, her eyes glistening. "Agreed. I mean it. I never want to go back to the way it was. Rebuilding this connection has been more rewarding than I ever expected." The conversation flowed freely as vulnerability and warmth filled the space between them. No walls remained, they had forged a beautiful sanctuary of trust and love. Every shared emotion deepened their bond, making their connection more resilient. As the sun set, painting the sky shades of orange and pink, Liam and Sarah felt a profound sense of belonging. There was a newfound appreciation for their relationship, a feeling that they could face anything together. They both found comfort in the knowledge that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they had each other to lean on and a love that was well worth every effort. Together, they had integrated lessons learned, and at that moment, they knew they were stronger than ever. Months passed since Liam and Sarah had taken significant steps to transform their relationship, and both could feel the positive changes settling deep within their hearts. They navigated life together more harmoniously, equipped with the tools of communication and emotional understanding. Each new day reaffirmed their bond, and the love they shared became increasingly evident in their actions and conversations. One particular Saturday morning, Sarah awoke with a spark of inspiration. She'd been working on a significant painting and decided it was time to host a small exhibit of her latest pieces, something she had wanted to do for years. As she shared her idea with Liam over breakfast, a bright smile spread across her face, and he could see the excitement dancing in her eyes. "What do you think? I'd like to showcase my work right here in the living room." Liam leaned back in his chair, absorbed in her enthusiasm. "I think it's a fantastic idea. I'd love to help you set it up," he said, his voice bursting with genuine excitement. Sarah felt her heart skip a beat. His willingness to be involved lit a warm glow within her. They began brainstorming that morning, talking about the colors for invitations, the music to play, and how to create the perfect atmosphere. As they prepared for the exhibit, they transformed their living space into a small art gallery, layering it with vibrant decorations that mirrored Sarah's paintings. While working on the project, they shared laughter and moments of playful competition over setting up the display. It reminded them how much joy they found in working together, a stark contrast from the struggles they had endured earlier. On the night of the exhibit, friends and family filled their cozy home, all eager to see Sarah's work. As she stood near her paintings, discussing the inspiration behind each piece, Liam moved through the crowd, pouring drinks and making sure everyone felt at ease. This time, instead of lingering doubts, Sarah felt a swell of confidence, knowing Liam was right beside her, silently cheering her on. Their connection felt visible, and Sarah cherished the support he offered. After the guests departed, she turned to Liam, her heart brimming with gratitude. "Thank you for everything tonight. I couldn't have done this without your help." She grabbed his hands, feeling the deep warmth of their bond. He cupped her cheek gently and replied, "You shone out there tonight. You're so talented, and I'm lucky to be part of your journey." In that moment, shared words brought forth an essential acknowledgement of their growth. Looking into each other's eyes, they felt a spark of connection unlike any they had experienced before, a realization of how far they had come together, bonded through self-awareness and mutual support. They had evolved into stronger individuals, embracing their vulnerabilities and celebrating their differences. Liam took out a small, carefully wrapped gift from behind his back and handed it to Sarah. "I wanted you to have this," he said, his voice laced with warmth. When she opened it to find a simple silver bracelet, adorned with a small charm of intertwined hearts, tears brimmed in her eyes. "I thought this could always remind you of our love and the journey we've taken together," he added, clearly hoping to express something deeply meaningful. Embracing him tightly, they shared another moment of pure joy and understanding, their hearts surging with optimism for the future. As they held each other close, they reaffirmed their commitment to continue working on their relationship, supporting one another through every challenge and triumph. Stepping back, they faced the world together, knowing they possessed the love, confidence, and resilience to navigate life's ups and downs. With hope gleaming in their eyes, Liam and Sarah continued hand in hand, ready to conquer whatever awaited them, their hearts forever echoing with the lessons learned and the love blossoming that would guide their path ahead.